has been many days since the last we have uploaded, and now the time has come for our return. Many things have changed, but none more important than where we are going. The world around us has changed, and the Reveler has adapted to the new step of time with location, and thus we must be brought to him. Here is our stop.
I'm the Flying Dutchman.
Wake up, you lazy sack! They're waiting for you!
Zen! What's going on?
You were asleep for too long, you idiot.
How long has it been?
2 months.
2 months? I have to make a video. Psst, Zen! Bring them back in. Hey everyone, I'm back! Sorry about being gone for so long. It's been about 2 months. I've been, kind of busy. So, yeah, doing things. Anyway, my name is Trapixium, and I'm going to tell you more about the story of Magic the Gathering. Now, this time we're going to talk about a character who is, dare I say, one of the most intelligent and perhaps the strongest. I'm referring to the Elder Spirit Dragon Planeswalker, Ugin. Now, without any further ado, let's get into it. Ugin is one of the oldest beings currently in the multiverse, born 25,000 years before the destruction of the Thran Empire. It's literally one of the first events in the timeline. However, Ugin was not a lone child. In a rare case, Ugin fell from the Tempest with another dragon. Ugin has a twin brother. At the same time, they both hit the ground and they proclaimed their names. He was Ugin, and his brother was Nicole. There was one more thing that was different about them in comparison to other dragons. They were small, and not just small, they were small in comparison to a dragon like Vivictus Asmati, who is huge and lives in a volcano. For a period, everything was fine, and then one day, Ugin and Nicole became witness to their sister, Maria Sal, being attacked and killed by humans with dogs. Whilst Nicole sought vengeance for his sister, Ugin searched for his siblings and more knowledge so that they may have a chance. Ugin and Nicole spent years learning to hunt together to make up for their lack of size, and they were mocked by their own sister Palladia Moors. The twins lived with Arcady Sabbath, an elder dragon who was actually the leader of a human settlement, and it was there that Nicole and Ugin really learned a lot about the species. Nicole learned how to manipulate them, while Ugin sought to learn from them. In particular, he was fond of an elder named Tejuke, an older man who thought of things that were non-existent. Ugin took all of that information in and learned a lot from this elder, like the existence of other planes, for instance. Yes, Ugin knew about other planes before he became a planeswalker. Fast forward 7 years later, and Nicole wanted vengeance for his sister's murder. And while on their way to their birth mountain, whilst flying, Ugin was shot by some dragon hunters, and upon recovering saw something that would change his life for the next few thousand years. Nicole had begun to manipulate the dragon hunters into fighting each other and making himself the leader. Nicole then turned to his brother and tried to mentally control him, and as Ugin felt his brother's mental influence taking hold, he realized something. Nicole never really cared for Ugin. Oof. That hit to Ugin's feels caused Ugin's spark to ignite, and he was whisked away to the meditation plane. With Ugin gone, Nicole started a war against his brother so epic and grand it would be known as the Elder Dragon War. Wow, both magic history and real history both suck at naming things. Meanwhile, Ugin gallivanted about the multiverse, having his adventures and learning about the grand scale of the Blind Eternities. It was only a matter of time before Ugin would return home and see the mess Nicole had created. A world at war. Arcades leading an army of dragons and humans against Nicole. Ugin wanted peace and sought to bring it to his home plane and confronted Nicole. Upon doing so, Nicole was surprised as he thought Ugin died to the dragon hunters as he took control of him. Suffice to say, Nicole didn't trust Ugin at first, but the more they hung around each other, the more Nicole trusted him. It was then he wanted to impress his brother. and Nicole showed him the majesty of his empire and asked Ugin to join him in being his fellow emperor. Ugin dismissed his brother's offer and told his brother his life's work was nothing compared to the vast scope that the multiverse offered. Wasn't even worth being proud of, honestly. Nicole then asked Ugin how to planeswalk, and when he couldn't, Nicole accused Ugin of hiding somewhere on the plane the whole time. You know, I get they're twins, but I think it's clear who the eldest elder dragon is between these two. Just saying. The brothers had grown too bitter towards one another, and with that, their brotherhood dissolved. They parted ways, formulating the permanent animosity between the two. Skip forward a few thousand years, probably, I don't know, but Nicole, now going by Nicol Bolas, met his brother Ugin on the meditation plane for the first time in a long time, which would potentially become the last time. The two finally came to blows, the scrap lasting years, throwing each other through multiple worlds at a time. Ugin knew he couldn't match Bolas' tenacity and hatred, so he ran back to the meditation plane and waited for his brother. Upon coming face to face again, Bolas mortally wounded Ugin, and upon falling into the water of the meditation plane, the ripple created was so powerful that it fractured the plane and threw Bolas back into the blind eternities. Later on, Ugin awoke inhabiting a new body formed from the water of the meditation realm. Move over, Puff the Magic Dragon, we now have none other than Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, protector of the multiverse. Ugin's new purpose was abundantly clear. Protect the multiverse from Bolas' hatred and threats like him that, if left unchecked, could destroy entire planes. With Bolas also now in a firm position to kill Ugin because, you know, if you power move once, you can power move twice, Ugin sought a place to call home and found it on the plane of Tarkir. There, he started his own Dragon Tempest and birthed his own kin into the plane. However, he also gave thoughts to humans who lived on the plane, like the Temur Frontier and the Jeskai Way. Ugin taught them and gave them tools. For the Jeskai, Ugin knew the best way to hurt their enemies was in a way they could never see coming. So, he taught the clan of monks how to use ghost fire, an invisible flame that only Ugin knew how to conjure. For the Temur, Ugin knew having a clan of hermetic and isolated shamans in the cold without a way to contact each other was not going to aid them in their survival against the dragons. So, Ugin taught them how to use the Whisper Mind technique. This also made it so each clan of Tarkir were all equally matched, and each had their own special techniques. Ugin was content in what he had done, but there was a problem arising in the multiverse, and Ugin knew he would have to confront it, but he could not do it alone. The Eldrazi were becoming an issue on a scale that was nigh unprecedented. Consuming whole planes, Ugin recruited the Innistrad vampire native Sorin Markov and the Zendikar core lithomancer Nahiri, and together they resolved to contain the Eldrazi. The three decided to use Nahiri's home plane of Zendikar as bait due to its rich supply of mana. With the help of Nahiri, Ugin established the prison tentatively called the Eye of Ugin by Nahiri, weaved the ley lines into a trap to contain the Titans. There, forever, with the help of the Hedrons, now dot the plane. The Hedrons are Ugin's rune work, but Nahiri's stonework. This process took 40 years. Upon arrival, it would be Ugin's job to use the colorless magic to unlock the Eye and fight the Eldrazi. It worked. Thanks to the three, they had successfully contained the Titans on Zendikar. Thousands of years passed, Ugin could see his brother's plan from Tarkir. So, if he could not kill Bolas, he sought to contain him. Ugin and the fellow planeswalker Azor came up with a plan to trap Nicol on Ixalan. Sadly, this plan never came to fruition. As it would happen, Bolas had found his brother. In a brief scuffle on Tarkir, Bolas had brought Ugin down again, and once more, Ugin felt his brother's mental influence wash over him, searching his mind for any information he could use for his plans. With Ugin on death's door, Nicol left him, leaving him to bleed out on his favorite plane. He watched his Dragon Tempest slow, falter, and then stop, like a hurricane losing steam. Ugin pleaded for something, anything, to come to his aid. He pleaded out loud to his fellow dragons. None would answer, so, in his last desperate venture, he pleaded to time and space. 1,280 years later, someone would answer that plea too late. And his name was Sarkhan Vol. Sarkhan went back in time using Ugin's own bones as a stargate, so to speak, and went right back to before Ugin's loss to Bolas. Using a Hedron shard, Sarkhan created the Crucible of the Spirit Dragon to heal Ugin, and from then on, things changed. Ugin's fate was reforged from the fallen past, and as a result of his essence contained within the Hedrons, Ugin became the very soul of Tarkir himself. The Temur could communicate with the Spirit Dragon despite technically being dead. So, with the timeline change, Sarkhan was sent back to his time period 1,280 years later, and Ugin was in a cocoon made of Hedrons. Oh yeah, one other thing, Tarkir was now controlled by the dragons because since Ugin never died, the dragons never stopped coming. Anyway, of all people, Soren was the first person to find Ugin and set him loose. Soren didn't know what happened, and was told in detail how Ugin fought Bolus and lost, just for Soren to say, aha, oh yeah, by the way, the Eldrazi are free again. Ugin was shocked that someone managed to free them and asked Soren where Nahiri was, only for Soren to sheepishly deny that he knew nothing as to where she was, which Ugin knew he was lying. Ugin told Soren to stop being a jerk, release Nahiri, and meet him on Zendikar, and if Nahiri wasn't with him, he was going to be in a whole lot of trouble. After a few hours, Sarkhan managed to find his way to Ugin and was very confused on the whole time travel thing, and so was Ugin, frankly. Thankfully, he had spent his time between sleeping, knitting a new hat that could fit between his horns, and watching Tarkir wildly change into a Dragopoly, reading up on Tarkir's new history. Ugin then questioned as to how Sarkhan knew what happened at the Eye, and how he got a shard of it to Tarkir, granted being on Zendikar. Really? The knowledgeable Elder Dragon can't for the life of him figure out how some human got something off-plane on-plane? Okay. Well, either way, Sarkhan told Ugin everything that happened up to that point. Watch the Sarkhan video for that info, by the way. And from that, Ugin was able to figure out what he did in the old timeline despite not having any memory of it. See? He can figure out what he did in another timeline, but he can't deduce that Sarkhan's a planeswalker. What the nix? Anyway, Ugin says Sarkhan created a time paradox and no longer exists, and Sarkhan wanders off to get shawarma with Narset. After this, Ugin immediately goes to Zendikar and walks in like he is a mom whose kid has just sprayed chocolate syrup all over his room and then resolves to clean up the mess, muttering to himself, annoyed at even having kids at all. Too personal? Either way. While trying to rebuild the Eye, Jace Balerion walks in to investigate. Ugin then begins to inform Jace how the Hedron network could be the key to re-ensnaring the now free-roaming Eldrazi Titans, Ulamog and Kozilek. Now, instead of following up on how containing the Titans could be the best answer to saving the plane, Jace takes the idea of using the Hedron networks in another direction. Why don't we just use them to kill the Titans? Ugin didn't like the idea of losing some of the biggest Titans in the known multiverse, and says no. And 3 hours later, Jace comes back saying, hey, big you, we just killed the Titans. Ugin was livid. Going back to the previous metaphor, it would be like after Jace sprayed chocolate syrup everywhere, he then went and got chocolate sprinkles because, dear God, the Titans are just ashes now. Ugin chastised Jace for doing so, warning that we have no idea how destroying Ulamog and Kozilek will affect the grand scale of the multiverse. But suffice to say, once the Eldrazi went up in smoke, it did give Ugin ample time to go back to his old hobby of stopping his brother from being a tyrant. Right on time too, because Nicole was about to get a major push and was starting to look like he could actually win, racking up great resources like Ugin's meditation plane, the Immortal Sun, the Planar Bridge, and most importantly, Amonkhet's now zombified residents now going by the name of the Eternals, all the while finding the final component to his scheme, the Elder Spell off-screen. Oh, come on, that's the item I want to know about. Ugin knew this had to end, so he and Sarkhan hatched a plan to take Bolus down. Sarkhan would bypass the wards of the meditation plane while Bolus was away to grant access back to Ugin. The Spirity Boi would quickly take back the meditation plane and would allow him to spy on Nicol using the Gem of Becoming. Once Ugin figured out Nicol would be on Ravnica, he sought help from Niv Mizzet, the leader of the Izzet League. They sought a way to keep Niv alive in case of his death so that he could be resurrected. Once corpseified, Sarkhan would get him into the containment vessel and back to Ugin for safekeeping until Ral Zarek could complete Operation Desperation. Once that was said and done, Sarkhan was sent back to go get Hazard's spear from Amonkhet because the only thing that could harm Nicol was Nicol himself, and the spear just so happened to be forged from Bolus's own essence. How Ugin knew that, I have no idea. Back to the plan. Sarkhan would have it brought back to Ravnica for Niv to use to wound Bolus and leave him vulnerable for a double cross so unplanned not even Ugin could see it coming. Yeah, one of Bolus's own eternalized gods grabbed Bolus and harvested manifested his spark. Upon being defeated, Ugin grabbed his twin and planeswalked him to the meditation realm. Now, how he did that, I have no clue, because the rules of the spark clearly state you can't take someone else with you. How do you get around this? Simple. Ugin was shielding Bolas the whole planeswalk with his wings, but the damage was enough to horribly scar Bolas, where he barely had any scales left on his hide. Bolas was out cold for weeks. He woke up powerless. He couldn't even do magic. Ugin had stripped him of his power, his names, his spells. No one could summon him. It was then that Ugin explained directly to his twin how he had led to his own downfall. With that, the plane was sealed off, and Ugin had made his brother his prisoner, and himself his twin's jailer. And as a way to keep track of him no matter where he roamed on the plane, Ugin expanded himself to be bigger than it. No one goes in, no one goes out. And that, my friends, is the story of Ugin, and my oh my, what a story it was. A lifespan that goes on the stretch of the timeline of magic as we know it, and not for a second does it shy away from showing the reader that in the pursuit of knowledge, you will make mistakes. But you must also have the smarts to fix those mistakes as well. Tell me what you think of Ugin's story in the comments below. Also, quick thing before we end. I'm sorry I was away for so long. I know it's been about 2 months. I had some things I needed to tend to. Getting out of my girlfriend's parents' house was number one. But as you can see, we got a new apartment. Pretty nice. I enjoy it. It's got everything we need. It's got everything we need. It's got magic thing. It's got pandas. It's even got weird vampire kitties. I don't even know what this is. I also wanted to take a bit of self-care. Doing one video every week, constantly working on the script, the recording, and the production of this video is usually something that would take about 5 days out of a week. And that's when I'm not working 40 hours. And I'm sorry, it wasn't the best for me, so I had to take some time away. I think I need a more infrequent upload schedule. Don't worry, I'm not going away forever. I promise. I'm thinking more so maybe once a month you'll hear from me. It's not the end, I promise. It's more so I need more time to myself. Because in the past few months, I've actually gotten more stuff done than I have in the past 6. Yeah. So, expect at least one video a month. They're going to be pretty detailed. I promise if I have a month straight to work on a video, it's going to be good. But I also just wanted to take the time to say thank you to all of you. I always keep track of the channel, and I've noticed while I was gone, I hit 300 subs. And the fact that you all just kept hitting the button and watching the videos really means a lot, and I really couldn't be more grateful. Again, thank you all so much for watching. If you want to join the Discord, there's a link down below. Feel free to jump in and talk with me, talk with all the other great people that we have in there. Twitter's down below too if you want to talk with me over there. I'm constantly just posting. Half of my life is now Twitter. So do with that what you will. And if you want to revel with me and Xenagos, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, may the Lotus watch over you.